And hello, YouTube, and welcome back to another episode of the Zone TV Movie Entertainment with me, your host, Jonathan, once again bringing you my thoughts and review for tonight's series finale of The Flash Season 9, Episode 13. That's right, The Flash is officially ending after 9 seasons, 13 episodes. Well, not more episodes than that, but I'm just saying for the 9th season, 13. Some spoilers ahead if you're not caught up to The Flash, so yeah, let's buckle up because this is the final lap. Literally, we are here, the final lap, photo finish to the end. And this episode literally just starts with obviously Eddie Thawne, Corbin Blue, whatever you want to call him. He's getting ready to prepare to try to take out Barry. He is the new avatar for the Negative Speed Force. He's bringing some help along the way, and the help of Zolomon, which is Zoom, Savitar, Godspeed, and of course the Reverse Flash, played by Tom Cavanaugh. Cavanaugh, sorry, probably butchered that. Returning as Earbot Thawne, back together, all together, ready to take on Barry and his team, his family. That's happening. While that's going on, you have poor Iris in the hospital getting ready to give birth to Nora as well. And let the fight begin. And we get to see Barry and the team literally team up against the Negative Speed Forces team and go throughout the city to duke it out for the one final fight. I talk about this is it. This is the last fight between everybody, and we get to see just Barry and his team do what they have to do to stop this from actually destroying the timeline officially and ruining everything. Okay. Now that I've seen this episode, I'm going to be completely honest with you, kind of wish it was a little bit longer. And don't get me wrong, it was not bad of an episode. It was okay. For a series finale, not so good. I mean, this episode literally just starts, villains show up, the good guys are ready to go, they duke it out, bad guys get their butts whooped in 10, 15 minutes of a thing. Cool fight scene. Don't get me wrong. I love the fight scene. We got to see Nora come back and do her thing. We got to see see Savitar fight again. Zoom, Godspeed, Reverse Flash. We got to see Keon use her element powers that she has. We got to see Cecile suit up again and use her powers. See Barry try to fight Corbin Blue, and and of course we have Iris giving birth to Nora. So there's that. We also got some cool surprises as well along the way. We got to see the fact that once they beat the villains, everybody went back to normal, kind of. Barry and the Negative Speed Force came to a treaty in a way. Like, hey, listen, we're gonna be enemies. We know, but we need to be on neutral ground. We have to balance each other out, kind of a yin to a yang thing where they have to be the same coin, but you really don't want to, get that side of the coin so many times because you don't want bad things to happen. So it's kind of like that. So we got to see them shake hands at the end. He finally realized that, like, hey, listen, we're gonna exist together no matter what. We can't keep butting heads all the time. And Eddie Thawne gave up Iris finally, and he said, he's happy for her. So there's your mutual ground right there. We saw Keon finally become nature in a way when she disappears forever into nature, all the elements of nature, obviously. And we got the return of Caitlin Snow. Daniela Panabaker makes a return with normal Caitlin back with her regular blonde hair, which was kind of cool to see, or brunette hair. Anyway, we got to see that. We got to see Chester and Allegra together. And, of course, Nora meeting Nora. So that was pretty fun to see. We got to see Harrison Wells, the good side of him. Barry Allen, the other, the original Flash, he came back as well. We got to see him return. We got to see Joe return. He proposed to Cecile at the end, so that was cool. Even though to us, we already knew they were technically married. They just didn't need to have a proposal for it, but okay. What else there? We got to see baby Nora. Very, very cute. And We got to see Barry just live his life with Nora. And also, it looks like he gives his power, like he gives powers to random people who eventually become speedsters down the road. I think in the comics they do, more speedsters to protect Central City, because Central City's always going to need protection. But, so, always a Scarlet Speedster is always going to be there to protect the city. So that was the end of The Flash. Okay. So, overall, this season was not the best. Now, I get it. It was the last season. But they really kind of rushed this last season. I kind of wish, it was felt more emotional. There's a moment in the end of the episode where Barry starts telling Nora the story of how he became who he is. I kind of wish that was the first episode of The Flash, so that way it goes all the way back around of him just telling the story, but I guess not. But, I've been doing this whole Flash show for 9 years now. I've done every episode, every crossover. I've done everything in the Arrowverse ever since it started with Arrow. And to see it come full circle now, it's like, it's hard to say goodbye, It's really hard to say goodbye. Now, granted, we still have Superman and Lois and Gotham, but, they're not really connected in a way. I mean, they're there, but not really there. So, I'm a little emotional right now because this is the last episode of The Flash. I've been with the show since episode 1 all the way back in, oh my God, I don't even remember how many years it was, 9 years ago. So, yeah. I've done every episode. I've reviewed every episode. I've watched every crossover. I've seen every Arrow show, every Supergirl, every Legends of Tomorrow, Black Lightning, everything, Batwoman even. I've done it all. I probably am the only one on YouTube to ever review all of the Arrowverse shows. I think I'm the only one. Probably. I'm pretty sure others have done it, but I'm the one who did it consistently. So, yeah. So you're very welcome for that. So all I got to say about the show, look, I love The Flash. I thought The Flash show was incredible. There were some great seasons. There was some not so good seasons. There were some moments where I did not like the Iris character. I thought they really butchered her character. Nothing against Candace, but, I really thought some seasons they really butchered her character, making her really not a good, important character to the show until seasons later. But yeah, I used to trash on Iris a lot. Because especially a couple seasons, there were some times that Iris really drove me to the top. But yeah. I always thought Grant Gustin's character as the Flash was great. Obviously, the Flash made some mistakes along the way, messed up the timeline so many times, and what can he do? I do wish we got to see more Caitlyn stuff. Because I kind of feel sorry for Caitlyn in this season. Not only this season, but also this series. She only had one love, and she never really had love again. So that's kind of sad that she never really had anything. Even though us Snowberries, we all wanted her to hook up with Barry at least one time. But we never got that, unfortunately. But, Caitlyn was always cool. Cisco was great until they kind of made him tech version vibe. So there's that. Joe was probably the best father figure in the show. Obviously besides the actor who played the cop from Arrow, but that's a totally different situation. Anyway, Tom Cavanaugh was like the best Earbot Thawne version ever. Even though we got the other version too from the future timeline, he was great, just as great. But the two of them were just awesome as the reverse Flash character. Overall, like I said, I really enjoyed the show. There was some moments I kind of wish we got more villains in certain seasons than others. I mean, how many seasons can you just give us of just having speedsters, So many speedsters, it was just too many. I kind of wish they would have dulled down the speedsters a little bit. But, what can you do? But still, the seasons were great. I love the episodes when Daniela Panabaker directed. I even like the episodes when Grant Gustin directed. Tom Cavanaugh, a lot of them directed a lot of episodes. So, I appreciate that stuff. There was some, like I said before, great seasons. Some of them were stronger than others. Like seasons 1 and 2 were like probably, and maybe even 3 were like the strongest seasons. I think The Thinker might be my weakest season, in my opinion. I might have to go back and rewatch it again just to see that, because between that or 5 was the weakest seasons of this, of this entire series. But yeah, I mean, the characters were great. I really love what they did with Cecile. I mean, kind of wish we got Cecile, getting her powers earlier instead of, and, suiting up earlier too. But, what can you do? It was kind of cool seeing her suit up. I do wish her colors were different, kind of feel that they kind of just took, what's her name? Nina from some Supergirl's colors a little bit, and made it like, or make her kind of like Dreamer 2.0. But other than that, yeah. So Cecile was cool, and then of course I want to talk about Iris. Iris to me, look, like I said before, I did bash on Iris a lot because she was basically a copy ripoff of Lois Lane. There is only one Lois Lane, and they always try to make her, Lois Lane in the show. And I always hated that. Like I said before, no hatreds towards Candace. I thought she was a great Iris throughout the whole show. It was just her character drove me nuts. So, but she grew back into being one of my favorite characters of the show due to the fact that, they finally gave her a character to be her own instead of just being, yeah, I'm a journalist, but I'm gonna be like the Lois Lane of this show, because they can't use Lois Lane. I think it's because, Lois Lane eventually did show up in the shows. And they're like, yeah, we can't have 2 Lois Lanes. There's only one. But Iris was always cool. Although the whole "We the Flash" line stood on my favorite line of the Flash, of any of the Flash episodes. But because it's like, what do you mean, what we? Does he really need to be in love with you to have his powers? I mean, Superman doesn't have, we're the Supermans to be Superman, or Batman and Catwoman, like we're Catwoman to be Batman. So it made no sense, that line, but whatever. Let's see who else. So yeah, Kate, Iris. Like I said, first I really didn't care for her character. She grew on me. Ended up loving her at the end. So awesome for Candace. She was great in that role. That will always be my favorite role of hers. Until she does something else. Probably be way better. Anyway, Grant Gustin now. I mean, listen, whatever beef we all have for Ezra Miller, totally different. I mean, Grant Gustin is the Flash. He'll always be the Flash to me, because honestly, he embodied what Flash was supposed to be. He's a scientist, although they did stop that a little bit. He's supposed to be super smart chemist. All that. CCPD. I really wish we got more of that. But he was still a great character. And, of course, he made his mistakes in the first couple seasons, obviously, yeah. But then, when you try to keep doing the same formulas, kind of dulled him up a little bit. I kind of wish he was a lot smarter than he's supposed to be, because the Flash is Barry Allen's supposed to be really, really smart. He knows how to work the Speed Force. It did really take him a lot of seasons to get to being who he is. Like the later seasons, when he started becoming the actual Speed Force and being the one that created the artificial one, and he was super smart with that stuff and how fast he was. Yeah, he shouldn't have had that earlier in life in the seasons, but granted, it's only 9 seasons, so what can he do? Technically I count only 8 seasons because kind of 9 was kind of rushed, but you know what I mean. But yeah, I think Grant Gustin did a great job. I think, to me, he's going to be the best Flash ever. I mean, I'm looking forward to the movie version, but still, it's like no comparison. Like I talked about Joe. I really like the side characters when, they started coming around. Chester was cool. They needed somebody smart to take over for Cisco. Cisco Ramon. He was a great character until they started making him, tech version of himself. But what can you do? I think the smartest. My big negative about this show was the fact that there was too many scientists in this show. Yes, we needed Tom Cavanaugh, we needed Harrison Wells, obviously, but I think Caitlin should have just been the only scientist in this show, and Doctor as well, because she had the mixture of both, and Daniela Panabaker did a great job with that character. Until they kind of screwed her over at the end of this season and last season as well, where She loses Frost, which we all thought Frost was going to be a bad guy. Then she became a good guy, which we all loved. And then, all right, what's going to happen now? She's going to get a new character. She's going to get powers herself. And then they gave us Keon, which was kind of cool because, it's like, oh, yeah, remember Sky High when she had the nature powers? It's like, that's cool. Good to see her play that kind of character again. And Keon didn't really get that power till near the end when she just snaps her fingers and all the bad guys just dusted. So it's like, where was this power in the beginning? But we never got that. But I'm not really going to blame Daniela for that, But what can you do? I do wish she would have had a love interest in this show. Sure, she had Tom Felton from Harry Potter when he first came around, but then he left, so, no love there. And then, when they got rid of Firestorm, it's like, they're not going to let Caitlyn have a love interest at all. Not that, love interests make or break a show. It's just like, I feel like everybody else had love interests in this show except for her. She was the only one who was just there. You could have made her an LGBT character. You could have have her hooked up with Ice Boy. What's his name? The new guy. The guy who looks like Kraven the Hunter, but he has ice powers. The one who was in love with Frost. Couldn't have had him hook up with her, but nothing. And then, Keon becomes nature, and now Caitlyn's back to be like, hey. And then she comes back to Iris and Barry have a baby. Joe's marrying Cecile, and yet Caitlyn's just back alive. Yeah, I'm back. Yeah, guys, congratulations. And oh yeah, I still don't have a love interest. And I found that very always odd to me about this show, but oh well, what can you do? But like I said, this show was great. I'm gonna miss it very much. Very, very much, and I'm gonna thank the cast for the great job for all the seasons. Obviously, the creators of the show, the creators of the Arrowverse, every episode director, because all of them did a great job, even if some of them were hit or miss. The costume designers, the special effects team. I thought some of the seasons of this show with the special effects were really top notch. And I thought Legend of Tomorrow had some, and Supergirl will have like the biggest budgets. But, there were some times in some episodes with the Flash where it was just like, yeah, their budget's a little bit too high, but it looked really, really good in some cases. But, what can you do? Overall, I enjoyed this show. I'm going to miss the hell out of it. I will watch it again eventually, from the beginning. But, I'm just sad that it's over. So, leave a comment below. Let me know what you guys thought about this show overall. What was your favorite season? Not favorite season? Favorite character? Favorite villain? Favorite crossover? Favorite moments? Favorite quote? Favorite anything? Non-favorite thing? What do you thought about this episode in general? Leave me a comment below. Let me know. Stay tuned for more. And thank you very much. And have a good night.